We've got a terrific agenda presentations today. I'm going to give just a very brief economic update right now. We are fortunate to be in the best market in Canada. We've seen rising prices. I sent out a note last month where our average price has now risen to 471,000 from the previous month. I think it was 455. If you go back 2.5 years ago, we were at 389. Now, having said that, we still have the most affordable housing in Canada. If you look at that 471, Calgary's 100,000 more, Vancouver and Toronto are both well over $1 million. So we continue to see people coming into the province. The StatsCan numbers came out, and over the past 12 months, Alberta has added 101,000 new jobs, and all of those are full-time jobs. So people are coming here, businesses are expanding as well. So that really bodes well for housing, both on and also on the commercial side. And of course, we're going to talk about that briefly as well, but we have a fantastic commercial brokerage that we've recently launched as well. If you compare it with other provinces, you actually have employment declines in BC and Ontario, in Quebec, and so that's that is a real driving force with people coming to Alberta. And for opportunities, we are seeing the days get longer as well. I was doing an interview for a RE/MAX global report last week, and I said, yeah, it's come June. I remember Garth Brooks a couple of years ago, he was playing at Commonwealth Stadium there. It's 11 o'clock at night, blue skies out there, pretty amazing. The wintertime, a little shorter the days, right? So anyways, before we kick off with our fantastic discussion on GST for first-time home buyers, Sam and I would like to make a couple wonderful announcements for the brokerage. So I'd like to invite Sam up here. Yeah, and it also, of course, we've got special awards for people who have been in the business for many years. We do have service awards for many people who are going to be attending the next sales meeting. But I was delighted to present Sam with his 20-year RE/MAX certificate.
One, two, three. We'll do it this way. 1, 2, 3.
Well, I'm actually nervous today. It feels like 20 years ago when the journey started, and wow, can't believe the time has gone by so quickly. But it's been one of the best things that I've done. Sorry.
Holding.
I just want to say a few things before we get into some very exciting announcements at the brokerage. Start by thanking my amazing wife and the kids and Sharon for the strength. This business is not easy, and it wasn't. When I'm an accountant by profession coming into this business, I thought, yeah, I can do this. But, for the first 6 months, I didn't do a single deal. And we were questioning of going back into accounting, which was easy, could have easily gone in there. But I had the support and I had the drive. In this business, you got to have the passion. You got to have the drive. What does it look like? And I used to tell people, I want to see what 5 years looks like. I didn't realize it's going to be 20 years. Amazingly, this is one of the best things that I've ever done for myself personally and for my family. And now we have 2 amazing kids who are in the business. And very proud of the two of you. And Sharon is also getting into the business. So the entire family is getting into it. I'd like to thank Don for his vision, his leadership over the last 6-7 years. He's changed the brokerage around completely from us being a good brokerage to now the #1 brokerage in Canada. So you guys should be very proud of the transactions that you've done and what we've accomplished. Along the way, we're lucky to have incredible team from Mittel leading the managerial administrative staff. Her trust is incredible. We don't have to do anything. We know when Mittel has it, it's done, and that's what helps us. Lorena was here before me, so which is incredible. So the journey is great. We've reflected on this. But what's next? Where's excellence? Where are we going? How do we continue supporting the best brokerage in Canada? What does it look like? How do we stay on top of education, marketing, training? We're proud today to announce the leadership, strengthening the leadership, bringing on Tim Grover, working together with us as the newest partner and owner of RE/MAX Excellence together with us. So Tim, welcome to the leadership team. This hasn't been an easy decision, but we've worked together over the last many years. Tim's knowledge, his dedication, his professionalism brings tremendous value to the brokerage, to all of you, and excited about the next 5 years. Maybe the next 20 years, I'm not sure if I'll be around back then. Maybe Dawn will be, but we want to make sure we stay on top. We want to make sure we continue to be the best in business. From technology, from knowledge, from training to support, to have the strength. And for those reasons, we're excited to announce a new member, a new owner of RE/MAX Excellence working together. So welcome to RE/MAX Excellence.
Thanks.
Tim has great experience. He ran his own brokerage a few years ago. He's very in tune with the latest AI technology, different aspects to strengthen the position for our realtors, bringing new people on board as well. We chat on a regular basis. I was going to say a daily basis, probably on an hourly basis, going back and forth. And how can we always look to advance our brokerage, supporting our realtors as well. And so one of the great things too is, we talk about our leadership team. We don't sell, so we are always available. And so if it's answering a question, during the day, on the weekend, I know we've both worked with many of you in that regard, and that's a real advantage that we have. And so I've continued to work very closely with Tim, and I'm absolutely delighted to have him part of our leadership team. So.
Thanks. Well, I'm Don. Thank you guys very much for giving me the opportunity to join the group. I'd just like to say you've hired great people to build an amazing team and take this office from where it was in Collingwood all the way to the top of the heap in Canada, which is amazing. And I'm super excited to join you guys and hopefully continue to take it to the next level. And as Don said, technology, I think, is going to be one of the keys to moving forward in real estate. It always changes from the books to the MLS and then to now maybe AI and wherever we go with that. So I'd like to support you guys and add hopefully a ton of value over time with actually implementing some of these technologies so they will actually help you with your real estate business. So I'm really excited to take that on, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you all very much as well.
Let's get a picture. There we go.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. This one. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, you know, you're at the leadership team.
Now.
Yeah, the other very exciting announcement that we have today is with respect to our commercial Excel brokerage, which we officially launched a couple weeks ago. As you may know, is that the past couple of years, Remax Excellence has received the award as the #1 Remax commercial team worldwide. And so we've been working closely with Remax Canada and to take it to the next level. And so officially on March 30th, we have the new franchise, Remax Commercial Excel. You can go on our website as well, and you'll see the agents and all the great support in that regard. And so we've got full support from the president, Don Kotick of Remax Canada, also the head of Remax Commercial Canada, which is Damon Conrad. The great addition that we're going to be announcing today is that we're thrilled to introduce Alex Thomson as the commercial director to the Remax commercial. And if I could just say a few words here, he's a highly respected leader in the commercial real estate industry, over 20 years of experience spanning acquisitions, entitlements, development, financing, and dispositions. And among his senior leadership roles, Alex served as the first Canadian chair of NAIOP. That's an organization representing over 22,000 members across 55 chapters in North America. He's also been involved in over $2 billion in commercial real estate projects. And as the commercial director, Alex is going to provide strategic guidance on deal-specific opportunities for our agents, support transaction structuring and execution, and help strengthen the key industry relationships. He's a valuable addition to our commercial team and will be contributing through mentorship, programming, and industry insight. So
Alex, welcome. On a personal note, Alex and I, we go back many years from him being in some significant roles, VP of Cameron Developments, and now has his own consulting firm. And the relationship that we've built with him and his son over the years has been truly amazing. And we're very lucky to have somebody like him join our team. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is you become who you surround yourself with. Our goal always has been to bring on top people. Leadership is strengthened for your success, for you to make sure that we're available, that you can come in now, residential, commercial, anything that you need. So very excited to have you on board, Alex. Welcome to Remax Excel, Remax Commercial Excel.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, yeah, I'm excited to be part of it. You'll get used to my accent eventually. I see they turned off closed captions during this part of the presentation. And but yeah, really honored to be able to be part of this team, and I look forward to getting to know you better.
okay, that's great. Could we get a picture with the Ford was here?
Yeah. One, two, three. I'll go this way. One, two, three. Perfect.
I'm going to invite Shiva and Raul.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
One, two, three.
That's all right.
Don't put it on camera. One, two, three.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Don't worry.
So we got fantastic presentations on a very key aspect out there today, which is the GST rebate for first-time home buyers. And so I'd like to start it out with our in-house lawyer, Sumit, and he's going to do overview. Then we've got we've got the opportunity with Darren Rose. He's he's a real force in the new home builders with Pacesetter. I always love Darren. He's always willing to share his thoughts. We go back and forth on different things that's happening in the market, and so he'll be providing comments from the builder's perspective, and and then we also have our RBC representative. Delighted to have you here today. Going to be talking from the lending perspective. So thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks, Don and Sam, for having me. My name is Sumit. I'm a lawyer with SBLLP. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the hot topic, which is the new GST rebates for first-time homebuyers. Obviously, there's a lot that's been changed over time with this new program that's been introduced, and you may already know it, but it never hurts to listen to it again. So bear with me, and if you have any questions, I'll answer them as they come along. Okay. So what were the changes? Well, it was the recently passed Bill C4, which included an affordable housing market solution. As we know, there was a GST rebate program previously, but that was capped at an amount of about $6,300. Well, we're about to save up to $50,000. This applies to all homes that are eligible for new builds up to $1 million, and you get your GST back, potentially, unless there's something else that they find. The program is going to continue to evolve, right? So buyers and builders should definitely confirm how the rebate applies to their specific situation. And if you do represent or work with the builder, or in this case, Pacesetter Homes is here, it'd be important to find out how you're going to implement this rebate, right? Are you going to apply it directly to the purchase price and get it yourself? Do you expect the clients to actually apply it for themselves and pay the full price up front? Those are the gray areas that need to be worked out moving forward. Okay. So again, how does it work? Well, we know GST in Canada federally is 5%. So under the new rules, houses priced at up to $1 million, you'll receive the full GST rebate back. Between $1 to $1.5 million is working on a sliding scale. So as you input your numbers, there's a calculator that's online and available on the CRA website. That'll actually tell you how much your GST can get back to there. And if you have a home over 1.5, well, clearly you can afford your GST, so go ahead and pay that. So who qualifies? Well, first and foremost is you have to be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident of Canada. And this is underneath the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. Now, what's key there is some individuals are here in Canada and they apply for exemptions underneath this act. Case in point is if someone is here on a work visa, and they have 183 days left on that work visa itself, they become part of the exemption category. So they may be eligible for the GST rebate if they're purchasing the home. So that's something to keep in mind. Talk to your lawyers, whoever you work with, talk to me if you want. We can always find out if your client is actually eligible for this GST rebate. They have to be 18 or older, not have owned or lived in a home in the past 4 years, you or your spouse or partner, and you're purchasing the home as your primary residence. This can only be used once in your lifetime, so don't try to buy 5 homes and try getting GST rebates on 5 homes. It won't work. And the biggest thing here, and this is something that a lot of people may not realize, is it's not just new build homes. If you substantially renovate a home itself, then you can also apply for the GST rebate. So 3 things: substantial renovation, major addition, and conversion, right? So you can do it if you're substantially renovating your existing home, if you're converting a non-residential property into your home, and if you're constructing a major addition to an existing home along with substantial renovation. So I'll kind of go into that a little bit more. And when we say substantial renovation, that's kind of broad, right? What is substantive to you may not be the same thing to someone else. So there's a threshold for that. If you think about substantial renovation, think about 90%. It's also known as substantial completion of a new built home, right? So if you're gonna do 90%, think about gutting your home 90%. And then that will then become eligible for this GST rebate, okay? So if the interior is essentially gutted, that doesn't mean you have to replace the foundation. You don't need to do exterior or interior supporting walls or the roof, staircases. You don't have to gut everything. It's just making sure that majority of the home is actually gutted to reach that substantial renovation threshold, okay? The biggest thing as well is it's only livable areas of a home that are applicable to this 90% test. So if you're thinking about, renovating your garage or a crawl space, that doesn't actually apply to this 90% threshold. It has to be in areas that you're actually going to live in. Okay. Furthermore, a renovation of your basement or adding a garage or a deck to your existing home by itself does not meet the definition of substantial renovation. So you can't qualify for the GST housing rebate if that's the case. Just think about it, 90% means gutting your home, creating something brand new from scratch, okay? Major addition is important. Adding a space to your home, like a porch, a sunroom, a family room, bedroom by itself is actually not constituted as a major addition. It's a major addition in addition to a substantive renovation that will actually make you eligible for this rebate. So keep that in mind as well. And then the last thing is the conversion. So when you think about conversion, you just think about, okay, maybe changing the space and its layout, and that's the first kind of thought process people think of when they hear conversion. It's actually not that. Conversion means using a non-residential use of your home, non-residential space into your home now. So that requires, again, substantial renovation to create that. So you can see they're tying it all back to that you actually have to completely change the space itself for it to apply and actually become eligible for the GST rebate, okay? So what properties are actually eligible? Well, they're gonna be the detached homes, they're gonna be townhomes, duplexes, condominiums, and co-op units. If it's a resale home, it does not apply. It has to be a new build home, again, completely gutted home. And it has to be new and unoccupied at the time of purchase, okay? Timing matters. So eligibility, again, depends on when the transaction takes place. So if you signed a purchase agreement after March 20th, 2025 and before 2031, and you're constructing before 2031, and the home is actually completed, substantially completed, that 90% completion rate by 2035, it will apply. If they're not met, then the rebate may not apply. You can try, but as we know, the government's gonna be a little stingy with it, and they're not gonna give you your money back, okay? Biggest thing here, and this is a caveat I want you guys to know. Builders and first-time homebuyers cannot adjust, alter, or vary existing agreements. So you cannot have an agreement that's already entered into, create an amendment to that agreement saying, oh, well, actually, we're starting after this date, May 7, 2025, and therefore they're eligible. Doesn't work like that. The agreement is already entered into, the contract was formed. Therefore, you're actually before the eligibility period for this. So financial considerations. There's a few practical points that you need to understand. The first and foremost is, even though you can get a substantive sum of money back, you still have to be eligible for the full purchase price. So if you're buying a $900,000 home, you have to be approved for that $900,000 home. I'm sure Chris can talk to that a little bit more. And you have to be qualified for that in total, including GST, because the rebate's typically going to be coming back to you after the fact. Okay, so it does not reduce your actual initial financing requirement, and so it will lower your overall cost after the transaction that you completed. But upfront, you still need the capital to actually complete the transaction. Okay. So what it means for first-time home buyers is you can offset your closing costs, you can offset legal fees, you're basically getting a reduction in your overall purchase price, and it does improve long-term affordability. This is a great program. It's something that's being introduced and rolled out to actually help, individuals afford a home. As we understand, inflation has been quite significant over the last few years. Don has, and Sam have informed us that, Edmonton market's really, really good compared to other cities. And that, but we're seeing the housing prices rise. And so this is a great option for, first-time home buyers and actually affording a home, getting a significant sum of money back based on the purchase price itself. So how do you prepare for your purchase? Well, just make sure that you understand whether the property that you're purchasing actually qualifies itself, how the rebate actually will apply to your specific price point, and how it fits into, your financing and closing structure as well. Once you understand those things and you actually have a semblance of what you're actually getting yourself into, then you'll understand what you can actually expect in the near future. Okay. Biggest question I have is, how do we do it? It's all on the CRA website. If you go there, there's a bunch of forms. You just have to make sure your clients are finding the right forms for them. There's 3 different types that are on there. Review them. It's usually the first one, Form A, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to be applicable for the majority of people. Get them to fill it out and submit it to CRA. I know that from the moment it's got announced, thousands of applications have gone in, and we know that the government is going to take their sweet, precious time with this. So the sooner you put it in, the better. Okay? So overall, just verify the client's information. Make sure that they are actually eligible and meet the criteria for a first-time home buyer's rebate. You can assist your client and find out what the builder who they're applying with, see if the builder is going to be open to applying it directly to the purchase price, or if they'd want the client to actually apply for this afterwards. And then, if you already had clients who talked to you about potentially renovating versus buying a brand new build, you can actually tell them about this option in the GST rebate that's applicable. Okay. Like I said, that's pretty much it in a quick summary of what the GST rebate is. If you have any questions, I'm always here on Mondays and Thursdays afternoon. You guys can always question.
The rebate for the residency requirement for something significant.
Yes, so
Apply for
it doesn't apply to the renovation. That's for the brand new builds. So yes, that obviously if you're going to gut a place as well, you're not going to be vacating. You're not going to have a person in the home itself, so it's technically vacated, right? But for a brand new build, that's specific. Once the gutting is complete, you have to keep all the, based on what I've read, you have to keep all the invoices. You have to make sure that everything is tracked, and then you can submit it all. That's a little bit different. It's a package that you have to submit. That's a different form. And then, yeah, that'll be.
So here's a question one of our realtors asked the other day. Got a common law couple. It's in the husband's name. He's a first-time home buyer, but she isn't. Is he eligible for the GST rebate?
It's a gray area because common law technically is known as a partner or a spouse, to say the least, even though it's not. So I don't think they've actually addressed that itself, but based on common law and the way that I've seen it being done previously, you can consider them as a union, and therefore she would probably not be eligible to apply for it if he already owns a home.
So in that scenario, and I guess it would apply also if they're married. So if it's in the husband's name, he hasn't purchased a home before, but she has, but she's not on title. Are you saying that they may not be eligible?
They may not be eligible. That's something where you have to apply to see if they actually become eligible. This is where those gray areas are, where they're not gonna have all the answers. They're gonna come up with them as those things come up, right? Essentially, he's on title, right? Therefore, he owns the home, right? And so it says specifically if you or your spouse have owned a home in the last 4 years, then you're not eligible for it, So I don't think that would apply or should be eligible.
So if it is before 4 years, then it's what?
For now, that's what the rules say. Yes, it's the 4 years is threshold. Yes.
What about the property that's, for example, the husband is on title, they never lived?
So that's you're talking about more of a like a rental property.
Sure, let's
Okay.
follow that way.
Sure.
So just the husband is actually in the title in this rental property, the wife never owned the house in this case, that's considering as a first time buyer.
It depends on how he got the mortgage, right? So if he purchased it, some people will buy a home, say it's gonna be their principal residence, and they sign off on it like that. And then it will eventually turn it over and say, well, no, I'm actually using it as a rental property. Then no, it doesn't count. If the mortgage was known to be a rental property, then it can count.
So you owned the house 5 years ago? You're good?
Should be fine, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna double back to Lon's question, like if you were living in the matrimonial home, then you wouldn't. Consider it personal, right? You know, when I first owned the house, I'm not gonna put my wife on it, then we're first time home buyers, doesn't matter, if you're living in a home, you're not considered personal.
Shiva, do you mind talking about the process? They just bought a home and we went through the process a bit, so maybe just give an explanation.
Yeah, me and my wife recently purchased the home, so that's been pretty exciting. But I've been hearing about the first time home buyer GST rebate for a long time. So I actually applied back in September for this program. Filled out the application, submitted it to CRA. They actually responded, saying it's processed and everything. But then I got a call from CRA saying that the law's only been passed in Ontario, and Bill C4 is still yet to be passed in Alberta. So I was waiting, and then finally a couple of weeks ago, the bill received royal assent in Alberta, and so I resubmitted the application, the same one that I put in. This was, I believe, March 14th-ish. So you fill out the form, you have your home builders, contact info, business number, things like that. It's really quite easy to calculate the GST amount of rebate because it's 5% of the home purchase price. So along with that, you're submitting that form, you're submitting your purchase contract, statement of adjustments, and you can do this all on the CRA website. I did give CRA a call yesterday, just wondering if they have the application in place. They have received the application. It's about a 3-month time frame for them to be able to get back to you with an updated response. So that's sort of where I'm at personally within this process. I think it's an amazing program that's been released in Alberta, and I think it should definitely be taken advantage of. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chairman, for sharing that, and thanks, Summit. One of the great advantages with Summit being in-house legal, he's here 2 days a week, so certainly tap into that. And if you have questions, give him a call and the team in that regard. So next, I'd like to invite Darren Rose with Paysetter up to the for his presentation. Great to have you. Thank you. Way better protect than I would. I'm gonna make this short and sweet, or I say that until I get started. The first time home buyer, yeah, that's huge. So I'll do it quick. And the PDFs I have here, Dawn has, Jordy has, we can send them out if anybody wants them. My background, really quick and simple, and the reason I like to tell you is I have a lot of realtors, even in this room, that I've worked with. If you have somebody looking reno, looking anything, it's not even a new build, you just want some advice, phone me. I'm more than happy to help. So I've been in construction for years before this side. Oops, did I already mess it up? Yeah.
We know one of them.
Maybe I shouldn't even touch computer. The ironic thing is, before I got into sales, I was in University for Computer Science, but not everything runs off DOS anymore, so it's a little tricky.
So
See, Darren, that's the key, is surround yourself with experts, right?
that's right. And it's funny, I have a whole team just for that too. But I'll start before I go into too much of the things. I'll start a little bit on the first time home buyer, which is most important. And I learned a lot already right here. I didn't even know renovation applied. So that was interesting. For new home, every builder's a little bit different. Like someone said, make sure you ask. Pacesetter, we offer both the Qualico group. So Qualico is our head company. We're a 75-year-old company, but Sterling Homes, Streetside Homes, Pacesetter Homes, we're all part of Qualico. We offer two choices. You can take it off at the purchase agreement, the document to sign, or you can apply later. When somebody asks to take it off up front, we run through the, have you not owned a home in 4 years? You got to be sure, because the risk if you take it off up front and CRA denies it, you have to come up with that money. And we all know CRA is not going to let it go. So you will owe that. So we usually recommend keep it on the purchase agreement, apply later. We've had some first-time buyers where come in, they don't have the deposit. So, oh, mom, dad, cousin, somebody's going to lend it to them. And then when they get the GST back, they're going to pay them back. So that's been another good use for it. Also, with new home, unless you put it into the contract, typically there's not landscape. You're going to have the fence, you're going to have the deck. So that's also a nice way to get that money back, put it there. But I said, it's your money. Do whatever you want. Sometimes it's been more the approval. They just cannot get to the next threshold to get the home they want, which is where Chris is going to help you with. And then it's more, okay, I'm going to take it off up front. But it has, it started March 20th. I have spent tons of time helping people with forms because we had so many clients bought last year that are now filling it in. And that was great to hear somebody who's actually done it. Because I've been telling people, think 6 months, because I don't know right now with the backlog. CRA is hoping under 3 months to tighten up, but there's so many applications. Thankfully, you got yours in so quick because it's just going to be flooding in all the time. Also, one thing I would honestly recommend, of course, up to the client, go to a lawyer to help fill it out. The form isn't, it's somewhat clear, but it's a little tough to understand for most. So it is nice for a little bit of fee to have a lawyer help you out. You know it's submitted properly. So that's some of the quick things I would definitely tell when it comes to that program, but it's a fantastic program. The other thing I like is new land in the new home world has really jumped. We've seen it. That's been the big price difference that's affected new homes, has been the land price. Home price hasn't actually changed drastically over the last year and a half, but land really has. This has now at least closed the gap a little bit more between existing and new. So it's opened up a few more options, because I know when everybody here could tell more than I can about the real estate side, but in the lower price points, there's quite a battle. I'm still hearing multiple offers, everything else. So hopefully this can help a little bit with that side of it. But the one thing with that, tell everybody, and this isn't, of course, I love you all to buy, get everybody to buy Pacesetter homes. But I said, if everybody's going to buy a Pacesetter home, we wouldn't have other builders in the market. So I've given some documents that are more general to dealing with builders, because a lot of times I find, I mean, you don't deal with build all the time. It's so different than resale. What should you do? The biggest thing always is register your client. Get them registered right away. Now, the agreement between RECA and Home Builder Association is first visit, be present, fill out a form. Not all, but a lot of the builders, you can do it by phone. You can, I mean, if you phone me, text me, or any of the team, we can register right away, confirm the registration. Because I also know they'll walk into a showroom. You can be showing them houses for 2 weeks, not even talk new, and they walk in on the weekend, they register without you. And if a client's now, the real rule, if a client's already registered, there's nothing you can do. But most builders have, like a 24-hour, exception to it. That if you let us know right away, we can still help out. But if they've been registered working with the builder, you may have a 90-day wait. So that's the biggest one, is register. Two, some of the other things I always say when it comes to the builder contract, so much different than a real estate contract. So we said, not saying not to, you've done a lot of new, maybe you do understand them, but I usually tell people, if they really want to review it, don't review it for them, recommend a lawyer review it. Lawyer's going to know. The big builders, the contracts are almost all the same. They're so generic, but if somebody wants to see, but they are different. I tell my clients, and again, most know, Dawn knows, that worked with me for so long, I prefer working with realtors, working together. Like the relationship, I do so much, most of my business, about 75% is referral, do that. But you want to, again, protect yourself, but I always say,
the realtor relationship, plus clients think, oh, it's to negotiate, it's to go over the contract. No, in new home, a lot of times the price already dropped to the bottom. Do it where I say the realtor is, they're the facilitator, they're your consultant. They know, they're gonna ask the questions, is there a condo building way up here? What's the zoning over here? What's the resale gonna be like? The things that really clients don't know. So it is actually quite good if a client has a realtor representative with the home builder. Also, you know, I almost shouldn't say this on camera, but just like any industry, there's some fantastic builders, some fantastic new home salespeople. There's some that don't really know as well what they're doing, so you become a huge asset. But yeah, I don't like to say, I don't want to drag too much of that out because I'm here mostly about the first-time home buyer. So make sure if you're going to new and understand. I also have my cards here. You can send out these documents. So if you get questions, even if it's not Pacesetter, feel free, phone me, text me, email. I'll help you, guide you, even give you, if you want. These are short form. If you want to know, I'm working with a builder, what questions should I ask? I have long form documents I can send you that just are very generic. They're nothing to do with Pacesetter. They tell you what you should ask in dealing with it. But mainly too, I've probably talked too fast, is any questions on mainly that first time home buyer program or anything and how it works with the build.
Yeah, and Tim, you've been, you know, had a great rapport with Darren over the years as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great guy, great to work with, and he knows his stuff more than anything, so. Construction, you name it.
And you're fine if we share this information with the team?
Absolutely. I would have scrolled through that, but it's small. I did a really quick bullet point, but I thought, yeah, everybody get it out, see what's value. And I made it not Pacesetter specific. Like I said, I want you to buy a Pacesetter, but I want you just to help get into a new home and start getting yourself more money, selling more new homes.
Darren, just a question. Do you think this will be passed on to the buyers, or do you think the builders have the opportunity to increase the price?
Honestly, so I don't know if you maybe heard Ontario's already, because they have the HST rebate there. Ontario builders just increased their prices, offsetting the HST rebate. With this one, no. Now, honestly, I think if GST came off across the board, you could very well see that builders would increase the price, which would basically kill the program. Because it's just first time buyer, I don't see the builders at this point doing it because it will affect too many homes of second time, third time buyers in that as well. So currently, no, I don't see the builders changing with it. Also, even though the existing market's a little busier, the build market is steady, but it's not busy. There's quite a bit of inventory in the new wording, so there's still a good competitive advantage to buy right now.
Sorry, you're saying that for Pacesetter, you guys prefer that the client actually applies for the rebate themselves, or?
We recommend it, and we don't mind either way. But the reason I tell them is just the risk factor. Like if you know 100%, I've never owned a home or haven't owned a home in 4 years, you're good. But yeah, like you said, or visa expiring, or maybe there's something that doesn't work, then we always just say we recommend applying after and give them that choice. The other thing that I know, and you can tell me if but they have said that if you have a co-signer, as long as the co-signer isn't living in that primary residence, you do still qualify. You still get the GST rebate as long as the primary resident is the first time buyer.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And you know, that's great, Darren. I really appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, our next presenter is Chris with RBC. He's in-house. We've got fantastic mortgage brokers in-house, and certainly take advantage of that. So welcome, Chris, and so pleased you can come up today.
Good morning, everyone. As Don said, my name is Chris Salowski. For those that don't know me, I have an office right there. I'm with RBC Royal Bank. I'm in the office 2-3 days a week. I'm accessible. I work the same hours as you, evenings, weekends, whenever you need to reach me. So what I want to talk a little bit about is from the bank's perspective, how the GST rebate works, and also talk about, we do a ton of work in the builder space and how I can help you and your clients in your overall business. So of course, one of the big advantages of working with RBC is we do, especially with builders, we do all the information checking up front. So we do the credit check up front, we do the document verification, income verification, everything is up front. A lot of these builders are a 12-month build. So it's gonna be a lot going on in 12 months. As you know, clients can do a lot of things in 12 months. Right? They could go buy $100,000 motorhome. We don't recommend it, but they could do that. They could lose their job, they could get hurt. Once you're approved, you stay approved. Okay, we don't re-adjudicate the files when we get closer to closing date. So that's a major advantage on the RBC process. Everyone always talks about rates is such a key component. We will hold the rate for the clients for up to 24 months. Typically it's, you know, a 12-month rate hold, could be a 6-month rate hold. And so that protects your clients so that, you know, if the rates go up, they're protected on that rate. Now, of course, when we get closer to possession, we'll adjust that rate. So when we get within 4 months, we'll apply the retail pricing. And if the rate's better at that time, then they'll just take it down to that rate right at that time. We also do the property appraisals right up front because we do so much work with the builders. We know most of the spec homes already. We know the value of that property. It's not going to change. So we get that out of the way. Again, reduce any surprises. The other thing that's really important is that the only way to get an RBC mortgage is through RBC. We don't sell to the brokers. Everything's in-house. We have that advantage for you guys. If you're in a really competitive market with multiple offers, we can rush files directly to the lender. When we get to the closing process and the lawyer needs something quick, I can rush things within a couple days if we know. We need to. We don't want to, but these things happen sometimes. So everyone's talked a little bit about the GST rebate. You know, as we talked about before, it is for first-time home buyers, and it is right now for new builds only. Now, there is people lobbying in the background to make it for first-time home buyers for existing builds as well, or for existing properties, which isn't in place yet. The funny thing about this GST Bill C4 is that the government made a huge splash about this last year. And so everyone's been asking us questions about it, but they didn't roll out the information of actually how it works. So it is really right now just on new homes for $1 million or less. If it's over, if it's 1.5 million, then they can get a bit of a reduced GST rebate on that. Now, builders can apply, like there's some builders like Pacesetter and the Qualico Group that are taking it off right at the time, which is massive if clients are trying to qualify. So it makes a big difference. But there is a lot of, I guess, confusion and clarity that needs to be around if they are a first-time home buyer. So I think that you guys have some documentation that they signed and review, right? But I think a lot of the builders you'll work with, they'll prefer that the clients just take care of that on their own, right? So there's a form that they could fill out and then they can get that done. It does make it more affordable. What it means for you, you know, you can re-engage with buyers that might have been priced out of the market, right? So especially if you're dealing with builders that build it in already, there's going to be an increased demand for new construction homes. One thing that I think is really interesting is that you can reconnect with clients who bought a house in March 20th. They may not even know about this. And then you can kind of steer them to say, hey, listen, did you know you could potentially get $50,000 back? And you're going to be a hero in their mind for quite a long time. And before I go any further, did anyone have any questions on any of that stuff so far? Okay. Now, one other thing that we haven't talked about as well is there's another program available that's not tied directly to this. It's regarding the Green Home Program. And clients that are getting a default insured mortgage, they can actually get 25% reduction on their CMHC fees, which is also pretty massive if they're qualifying for it. So the home has to be a green home. It has to be energy efficient with the inner guide, but then they can get that 25% reduction on their CMHC fees right away. Now, all three insurers, CMHC is the only one that'll actually do it up front. So with the other two insurers, it'll get added onto their mortgage, and then there's a form that the client can fill out, and then they can apply for that, and then they get that reduction. They get that rebate. It's typically about 6 months down the road. But if you have clients in that situation or builders you're working with, we work with so many builders. A lot of the builders will have a specific, we'll have a code specifically for it that will get coded, and CMHC is the only one that does that. On all of our builds, we offer complimentary home protector insurance. Okay, so what happens is, God forbid, something happens to the client and one of them passes away. The 12-month build, the RBC insurance is complimentary for the first until they take possession. The bank's insurance will come and pay the whole mortgage. So it reduces the risk of it not closing. Of course, we will partner with you. We're out there. The whole process of pre-sale, when it's approved, if there's changes going on, if the closing date changes, there's a lot that goes on in these builds. And clients are complicated, as we all know. So we have a lot of programs available for clients. Very few clients will come to me and say, here's my letter of employment. I make $200,000 a year. My credit is perfect. everything's great. So we've got a lot of programs. If you have clients that are complicated for self-employed, investor programs, non-resident and new to Canada. And that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any questions?
So the example we were discussing, $500,000 home, you had the GST, it's 5.25.
Yeah.
How do you, at what price do you qualify the buyer on?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we go right off the contract price. So if it's on the MLS at 525, we get the purchase contract from the builder and it's 500, we're financing at 500. So it's a $500,000 purchase. Minus the down.
So then how does the 25,000 down payment, where does it come from? I thought the purchase price would be 525.
Well, if it's a $500,000 purchase, there's still, if it's a $500,000 purchase, typically the builder will build the GST on that. So it would be a $525,000 purchase.
So the purchase price.
And then they'd have to put 5% down on 525. So if the builder, like Pacesetter, is putting it in there, it shows in the purchase contract. I actually just got one from Sterling yesterday that shows it's $500,000, the GST is 0. And then it talks more about the rebate program as a part of it. So the client is putting 5% down on 500,000.
That's only if the builder is doing it.
Only if the builder is doing it. That's why it's really important to have that communication with the builder. Like some builders are doing it. I don't know of other ones that are doing it other than the Qualico group. Brookfield is as well. Okay. I know Coventry isn't right now, but I say Brookfield is and all the Qualico. I think eventually probably a lot of them will if they have the right paperwork, just because it's a huge advantage.
Well, they have to compete, right?
Yeah.
One builder's still in.
Yeah. Well, clients, there's gonna be some clients that are right on the line of the total debt service ratio to qualify. Makes a big difference. I've just got some just basic notes on there in my card, so if you guys want any information on that, just reach out to me.